Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you a special video response right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. Now, this video will be a video response to my man ZipBlockGory on his latest video discussing his thoughts on Toonami. And this will pretty much be my general thoughts on Toonami's Return and their new lineup. Now, I know a lot of people have already addressed this topic on YouTube. As I said, most noticeably, ZipBlockGory and the Insane Game Freak both did videos discussing this, and then multiple people did videos about this back at the beginning of April when Adult Swim first did their April Fool's joke where they brought Toonami back for the night. And originally, I did do a Toonami video. I actually did an anime favorites where I discussed the Toonami programming block, and that was intended to be my anime favorites for April, though I can't remember what all happened and why I decided not to upload it, but I decided not to upload it. And so and granted, another reason for that being was the fact that back then, you know, it was just an April Fool's joke. And I know that a bunch of people started rallying to get Toonami back on the air. But my whole thing was, well, let's just wait and see what happens, right? And so, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago, Adult Swim officially announced that they were bringing it back, and that it was going to kick off on May 26th, which is tomorrow. And then this week they released their lineup. So now that they're actually bringing the programming block back, and now that they've actually officially released the lineup, now I feel like if I'm going to do a video addressing it, now's as good as time as any. Now, I got into somewhat of a debate on my OAW Facebook page with another one of my followers about the whole thing, because I had pretty much given like my vague thoughts about how I was feeling about the whole situation, and I felt like perhaps I should go in depth and really explain what I meant when I posted that status. So here's my thing. I am glad that Toonami is coming back. Don't get me wrong. I am glad that it's coming back. You know, it's been damn near 4 years since it was on the air. It was a huge, you know, one of my favorite programming blocks when I was a kid. So to see it coming back, you know, I was happy about it. However, after the lineup was released, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, but here's the thing, it's not really Toonami at all. It's not even close to it. What it is, it's pretty much Adult Swim Saturday night anime block under the Toonami banner, and they're gonna throw Tom in there as the host. That's pretty much it. But it's not Toonami, and this is what I mean. Number one, none of the original Toonami programming is actually on the new block. So that's number one. But number two, the programming that is on the block is more reminiscent of what you would usually find on Adult Swim, not what you would find on Toonami. And the whole debate about that whole thing is this: for better or worse, whether you like it or not, the whole thing about Toonami was that Toonami was an after-school programming block, you know? And they showed anime, but they also edited it where it was more family friendly. Because why? It's coming on at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, you can't have material that has language. You can't have material that has sex in it. You can't have material that has over-the-top violence in it. All that type of jazz, right? Because you have to make it more family friendly because you're on an after-school block. Well, by placing Toonami late night Saturday night, they got more leeway because now they can show more adult material. But that within itself is not what Toonami was. Even when Toonami was airing on Saturday nights back in 2004, when it started airing on Saturday nights, same thing. You didn't have the language, you didn't have the sexual themes, you didn't have the over-the-top violence. What I'm saying is this: it's the programming that's on there is Adult Swim. It's not Toonami. Do you see what I'm saying? Cowboy Bebop has been on has been on Adult Swim since they first started showing. Matter of fact, I think Cowboy Bebop was the first anime they ever showed on Adult Swim. That's still on the block. Okay, when Cowboy Bebop is on the block, that's not Toonami. That's Adult Swim. So anywho, so my whole thing with the lineup is that it's not Toonami, and because it's not Toonami, it's not for me. You know, I'm looking at the programming block, and I'm looking at it from the perspective of, this is not my Toonami. This is the new generation's Toonami. And because of that, I feel the need that, because it's not for me, I'm not really going to support it. When I say I'm not going to support it, is I'm not going to tune in. And I have my reasonings for this. Number one, there are only two new shows that are going to be part of the lineup. That's Dead Man Wonderland and Casshern Sins. Now, I've never seen Casshern, despite the fact that, hang on a minute, I want to do a quick shout out to my man Ryan Jones. You all may remember him from the old OAW videos, because I do have the film Casshern that Ryan let me borrow. And Ryan, if you're watching this, I still got your movie. Whenever you want it back, just let me know. I mean, I haven't even watched it yet, and I've had it for like 2 years. So, Ryan, I have not lost your movie. I still have it. Anywho, I mean, yeah, I've had this movie for like 2 years almost, and I'll get around to it. So the anime, it's like, if I catch it, cool. If I don't, that's no hair off my nose. Dead Man Wonderland, I never had an interest in Dead Man Wonderland to begin with, at all. It doesn't appeal to me. But other than that, what else is on the block? They're still showing Bleach, which is a given, because I think that's their highest rated program on Saturday nights. They're still showing Brotherhood, which, for the life of me, I don't know why, because they've replayed it at least about 3 times by now. They're still showing Cowboy Bebop, which I own. They're still showing Ghost in the Shell, which I own. I think Inuyasha is still on the block at its same, like the 4:30 slot. It's the last thing to air. I own that. What I'm saying is this. The old programming that's still on there, most of it I own. And the new programming that's on there, I don't care for. So this is my question. What's the appeal for me to want to tune in? There isn't any. What I'm saying is this. As I stated before, the reasons for this is because this is not my Toonami. This is the new generation's Toonami. And I'll be honest with you all, I think it's a smart play. Let me explain to you all what I mean. Now, for any of you all who've seen Zip's video or Game Addict's video, you all know that they've touched on this topic about the problems with bringing Toonami back. Because there's multiple problems. And here's the thing. They could... Okay, there were 3 possibilities, 3 routes they could have taken with bringing Toonami back. Number 1, they could have made Toonami just a straight nostalgia rush, meaning they show all the old programming, they run all the old promos. It's pretty much the Toonami that was on television, they just put it back on, you know? And that's somewhat of a hit and miss, because on the one hand, it could be successful, on the other hand, it could be devastating. It really is a 50-50 shot with that. Not too many networks who bring back old programming blocks like that are very successful. Just off the top of my head, the only one I can think of is Nickelodeon with their on the Teen Nick network, when they brought the 90s Are All That block, where they show all of the old 90s programming from Nickelodeon. They show that late at night. Matter of fact, it runs late night, just like Adult Swim runs late night, and it's been successful. It's actually their highest rated programming block on that network right now. But that was a huge risk, and that only happened after the network execs did some long-running research about the potential for bringing those shows back. So they could have done the same thing with Toonami, where it was just a whole nostalgia rush, right? Number two, they could have just done away with the old completely and just did, nothing but brand new programming. But that's what killed Toonami in the first place. The fact that they were introducing all these new anime that did not appeal to their viewership. That's what killed it. When Naruto was the most viewed show on the block, when One Piece was on, when Zatch Bell was on, Bobobo Fuckerhead, that show, Prince of Tennis, Mare, when all those shows was running in late 2007, early 2008, that's actually what killed it. And then the third possibility was that they can do an amalgam of the two, where they could show some old and some new. And I think that's what they're doing, because they still have their staple animes like Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Inuyasha. They still have those, and then they have the new episodes of Bleach, and then Dead Man Wonderland, Concerned Sins. So they've done an amalgam of the two, which I think that's the best route to take. But with all that being said, as I've stated before, and I'll state it again, this is not my Toonami. This is the new generation's Toonami. And the problem came in the debate on my OAW Facebook page, because one of my followers was making the statement. He was like, well, Larry, the network execs say that they can't afford the licenses for some of these other animes. So pretty much this is like a test run. This is like a trial run where they're trying to see if the viewership is there, and if it is, then if the block gets enough support and if they manage to get enough money, then they'll go and they'll grab other anime, maybe even some of the old ones, which seems like a plausible business plan. But from my perspective, it does not matter to me. This is what created the whole argument, because my point is this. To be honest with you all, I don't give two shits what a television executive says until I see it. I'm not taking anybody's word for anything, because a television executive can tell you all he fucking wants and then turn around and do the completely opposite, and then you're just sitting there with your dick in your hand like, well, what the fuck, man? Then you get all pissy and shit like, it's like, oh, well, you promised me this, you promised me that. But it's like, that motherfucker don't know you and he don't owe you shit. If he's not making a profit off of it, he don't give a fuck about you or your feelings. And I don't mean to sound pessimistic, or I don't mean to sound like a cynic when I say that type of shit, but that's the cold hard facts about business. If he's not making money, he don't give a fuck what you want. So my whole thing is this. It's like, studio execs can say all they want. Until I see it, I have nothing to go off of, right? Okay. And then he's like, well, Larry, you're part of the problem because you're not supporting it. Well, what have I always been arguing? For any of you all who watch my videos, especially when you hear about me talking about supporting, films, supporting shows, supporting products, anything like that, what have I always said? Support what you like. Have I not always said that? Have I not always said support what you like? If this programming block is not giving me anything that I like, why should I support it? For the slim chance that they may put some of the old shows that I like on the programming block? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I used an example on my when I was chatting on my Facebook page about the whole thing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch a programming block that doesn't offer any programming that I want to see, but I'm going to watch it for the hope that they'll put on some of the older shows I like, right? That's the same thing as me going to Walmart and buying a bunch of orange juice from a generic brand, because I'm putting money into the business for the hope that Walmart will go ahead and start offering the brand of orange juice that I actually like. I'm gonna spend all this money on a brand of orange juice that I don't like, in the hopes that Walmart decides, okay, we're gonna start, okay, well, you spent all this money on a bunch of orange juice that you don't like, and now that we got some extra money in our pocket, now we're gonna give you the orange juice that you do like. But that's not promised. You see what I'm saying? That don't make no fucking sense. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And my whole argument is this. They're talking about, it's like, oh, well, you got to support it. No, I don't. I don't have to support it because this is not my Toonami. This Toonami is not designed for me, and it's not catering to me. I am one of the Toonami originals. I'm one of the nostalgic people, okay? If they're not showing the old stuff, then it doesn't fucking appeal to me. You see what I'm saying? They took this route to try and, number one, cater to the viewership that they already have, because that's the whole thing. Like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. This Toonami is pretty much Adult Swim. It's the same thing. It's catering to the same viewership that they already have. And they're hoping that by throwing on the Toonami brand, they'll get some of the old nostalgic guys like myself, or they'll bring in some new viewership. But the fact still remains that this Toonami is meant for you guys, the ones who actually watch Adult Swim right now to begin, because I don't even watch Adult Swim anymore. You see what I'm saying? This isn't for me. This is for you. So you know who has to support it? Not me. You. You guys have to support it. It's meant for you guys. You are the ones who are watching it already, and you are the ones that will continue watching it. Like, this is my whole thing. What happens when they start bringing back some of the older shows, right? Because the nostalgic guys like myself, I mean, look, let's not cross hairs here. When we're talking about, stuff that I've already seen, or stuff that I already own. I own Dragon Ball Z. I own every episode. I own Yu Yu Hakusho. I own every episode. I own Rurouni Kenshin. I own every episode. I own Outlaw Star. I own every episode. I do need to catch it back up with my Gundams, though. That's why I'm hoping they'd show Gundam, because I gotta catch up with my Gundams. So yeah, you could make the same argument. It's like, well, Larry, the old shows that's on Adult Swim, you won't know, but the same thing will happen with the old Toonami shows. But I put it to you like this. I put it to you like this. I am a faithful follower of ToonamiAftermath.com. They show all the old stuff. It's pretty much Toonami. ToonamiAftermath.com is the closest thing you're gonna get to the old Toonami that's possible in this day and age. It's a 24-hour live stream, and they show all the old stuff. Most of the stuff they show, I own, but I still tune in every day to watch it. The same would apply to if they start showing it on Toonami. Why? Because that's my favorite stuff. That's the stuff I like to watch. And should they throw it on there, I'll support it. The whole point I'm trying to make is this, okay? Because I know I'm starting to ramble. The whole point I'm trying to make is this. When they start putting on the old shows for the nostalgic guys, that's going to run its course for a while. You see what I'm saying? After a while, the old nostalgic guys are going to stop watching it. You know who's going to keep watching it, though? There's only one answer. It's the guys who were watching it from Jump Street. You all. The ones who are already watching Adult Swim. The ones who are going to tune into the new Toonami block. When they start throwing on the old shows, after the nostalgia guys have got their feel and they leave, guess who's still going to be watching it? You guys. So you know who got to support it? You guys. That's my whole fucking point. I don't feel the need to support this Toonami because it's not my Toonami. It's your Toonami. And if you like it, then you are the ones who have to support it. Because like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight, okay? I wasn't, sure, I shared a couple of links, but I wasn't one of the guys that were rallying to bring Toonami back. Because let's face it, in this day and age, with the internet, with illegal online streaming, and with illegal downloading, and then with most of the English dub companies like Funimation, when they're offering their shows on like Netflix and Hulu, and and then their own website. Toonami, I don't want to say it's completely irrelevant, but what I'm saying is, let me put it to you like this. Toonami is like a wristwatch in the day and age where we have digital clocks on cell phones. Most people nowadays don't even wear wristwatches anymore. Why? Because it's on your cell phone, and everybody has a cell phone nowadays. That's what Toonami is like. Toonami is like the wristwatch. It was innovative for its time, and it ran its course for as long as it did. But now that we have something new that everybody else is doing, it either has to adapt to the times or it has to stay behind where it is. I think what they're doing is they're trying to adapt to the times, but then again, this is the same shit that they tried to do back in 07 and back in 08, and it failed. So, but like I said, you know, say what you will about me. At this point in time, I don't really give a shit. You can say, oh, Larry, you're a hypocrite, or, oh, you're part of the problem, you don't want to support it, this, that, and the other. But it's like I said, it's not my Toonami. And the way in which Adult Swim went about, where it's like, oh, we're bringing Toonami back, they marketed that motherfucker intentionally. Why? Because they want people to believe that it's going to be the same good old Toonami when it's not. It's not. Okay? The product that they're offering is not the same product that I used to get. And it's not a product that I need. So why partake in it? I'm talking about me. I am talking about me. Now, like I said, for the rest of you guys who already watch Adult Swim, for the rest of you guys who are pumped about Toonami's Return, that are looking forward to Dead Man Wonderland and Cash Earned Sins and all that shit, then cool, because you're the people in which this block is meant for. It's not meant for me. It's not meant for me. It's not for me. Now, they start throwing on some of my old favorites. Fucking right, I'll tune in. Until that day, you just gotta wait and see. So those are pretty much my thoughts on the whole situation. Like I said, don't mean to sound pessimistic, don't mean to sound like a cynic. I'm a realist, okay? I'm a realist. And even I can acknowledge that this ain't for me. It's not for me. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And once again, shout out to my man ZipBlockGory and the Insane Game Freak. They both put out good videos on it. And I'd recommend that you guys watch their videos too, because they pretty much sum up my same thoughts on the thing. So what's coming out later this weekend? Found out that's my 25-minute marker, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm not gonna make this too long. Coming out later this weekend, tomorrow will be my Thundercats episode review. I decided not to do one last week, mainly because the episode was pretty much filler. I'm not saying it was a bad episode, but I didn't really feel the urge to review it last week. This week's episode, though, I looked at the preview for it. It looks pretty good, so I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. And Legend of Korra is on break this week, so there won't be a review for that. And then Sunday will be my Game of Thrones Season 2 Episode 9 review. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do a live blog TV for episodes 9 and 10. I don't know yet. I've only gotten one request for it. So if more people request for it, then I'll do it. If not, then I won't. But anywho, that's going to wrap things up for me this week. This has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off. And until next time, peace.